Hello, I'm Life Advisor Kent with lifeadvisoryservices.com. I'm pretty excited here. I'm going to start a kind of new series called LAS for Men, Life Advisory Services for Men. And I'm going to start just talking about topics that kind of relate to, what men deal with and issues. Because a lot of times, men aren't the most open and want to talk about their feelings or express any issues they're having. And with some of the CBT stuff that Life Advisory Service is doing, it's kind of really focused on, that depression, that anger. So I want to look at maybe some issues where they're not as heavy, where I'm not walking around and I'm not, totally depressed all the time, but maybe once in a while that I have a struggle with. And as always, I like to do PowerPoints because I think that once, if you can hear it and see it at the same time, it may be going to stick with you. And what kind of makes this different from some of the other, guys up there kind of talking about kind of how to pick up chicks is this is really just about communication and how using CBT is going to be able to help you do that and help you to communicate better. And so the first slide we're going to talk about, first series we're going to talk about is ABC for asking a woman out. And here we go. So I just kind of mentioned that a lot of times people are just going to be kind of talking at you. I recommend that you get a piece of paper, get a pencil, and you write this down. ABC for asking women out. It's overcoming fears and anxiety and asking a woman out. All right, have I said that enough? So what's the A for the ABC? Activating event. This is similar to what we use on our CBT side when we're dealing with depression, anxiety, and those type of issues. And if you've never heard me say this before, this is what, Anthony Robbins, all those guys, those self-help guys on TV are always preaching. They're using this basic concept. So anyways, let's think about a time where we wanted to ask a woman out, or just maybe sometime when we felt uncomfortable talking to a woman. And you could even use this, say, hey, before a job interview. It doesn't really matter, but I think that one of the most stressful things for a man is asking that woman out, taking that first step. And I think there's a lot of things that kind of hold us back. So write down a situation where you wanted to ask a woman out on a date but did not. Example, I was out with friends and wanted to ask a woman out, but I didn't. Maybe you're sitting around with your buddies at a sports bar watching some games, and you meet a very nice, interesting woman, and maybe you talked a little bit, or maybe you just kind of made eye contact. Well, how come I didn't go over there and talk to her? But what stopped you from talking to her? Well, it's usually the beliefs and the thoughts that you have going on in your own head. So you're already starting to think, well, if I asked her out in front of my friends, she could say no, I'll be embarrassed, they're going to laugh at me. The thought of, she probably already has a boyfriend, wouldn't go out with somebody like me. And then also, too, a lot of it is, I don't deserve a girlfriend. A lot of times with men and their issues, they're always, got to be that alpha male. But I think a lot of guys deep inside sometimes don't feel they deserve what they get. And so if they see a beautiful woman, or if they see somebody, not have to do with the physical attraction, how attractive they are, just a beautiful person. A lot of times I don't really deserve somebody like that. And the other thing that some men experience is that, well, in my head, if I ask her out and she says yes, it's usually, my past relationships, it's always ended miserably. We end up hating each other. And so it's just not worth it to try and ask somebody out again, especially if some guys have been through like a divorce or anything like that. So the C part of this is we're writing this down, that activating event, and then some of the beliefs we've had. And I know we've all had them. We've, been out somewhere, saw a lady, maybe we talked to her, maybe we didn't, and really wanted to ask them out. Maybe just wanted to start a conversation to see if that would be somebody that we might be, interested in, and maybe they'd be interested in us. So we talked about, those beliefs. What stopped us from doing that? Write that down. And now it's the consequences. So we didn't ask, we saw somebody that we're interested in, somebody that we thought would be, fun to meet. And what happened since we didn't actually follow through and try talking with that person? How did you feel afterwards? Did you feel worthless? Did you feel depressed? Did you feel anger? I think a lot of people, I know personally, back in the days when I was dating, is that you feel a lot of embarrassment. and you're worried about that. Oh, if I ask her out and she says no, then she's judging me. And then she's kind of looking at me like, oh, who's this loser to think I'd go out with them? I think that's where, guys kind of fall in one of those areas. And that's really important to make sure that when you go through this ABC is the consequence. What's going in our head? What's that negative, toxic thinking? All right. I messed up. Now what? Well, let's do a positive ABC, because I don't care what it is. If it's in athletics, if it's in work or whatever, the more times that you can visualize something, the better you're going to be at it when it comes actual time to do it. So let's do a positive ABC. Write down the same activating event. I was out with my buddies, sitting around a sports bar. I saw a very attractive woman and maybe even had a little conversation, just had some eye contact with her. All right, now we're going to change our belief. What's our negative belief to a positive belief? Oh, I'm going to go over there and talk to her and she's going to embarrass me. All my friends are going to laugh. Well, let's just say, well, I go over there and talk to her and that's not going to happen. And maybe she is a really great person. Maybe she will reject me, but she's not really rejecting me. She's rejecting my offer. And we got a whole series coming up on rejection. But let's say that belief is, wow, I got to talk to somebody and okay, it didn't work out, but can knock that one off the list. I don't have to go home and worry about it anymore. Oh, I should have asked her out. I shouldn't. That kind of regret of what I did and didn't do in life. She could have been the one. I should have just asked her out. You went over there and asked her out. She said no. She rejected you. Or maybe, hey, she said yes. And then that goes with the consequences. So you went over there. Your belief is going to be that this is going to be a positive experience, no matter how it goes, if she says yes or no. I go over there, I talk to her, and then you're going to envision the positive consequence. The more I talked to her, the more I liked her. And she seems interested in me. I was able to, exchange phone numbers, text, whatever it is. And I've opened up a line of communication with this person now. So go through and let's do a positive ABC to that negative event. Like I say, it's just like when you're, an athlete, they got to visualize it. And that's the only way, I think, for a lot of us mentally to break through that barrier and start getting the things we want is being able to do that. So this is the slide. Need to visualize the positive. I met a great woman out one night when I was with my friends. I asked for her phone number. She said yes. We went out. We had a great time. We now talk regularly. I was assertive. This is not, plug for my next video on how to be assertive with women. So this is it. This is the final outcome. I wrote down the negative event, go through that negative ABC. Then we're going to turn that into a positive ABC. And then we're going to visualize that event in our head only in the positive way. Like I say, you can kind of use this for anything where you had to communicate with somebody and it didn't go the way you wanted. Because even let's say you went up and talked to her, but you still had those negative issues in your head. If I go up and I talk to somebody, and this goes back to, how to be assertive. If I go up and talk to somebody in my head, I'm like, oh, she's going to embarrass me. And if I'm all worried about the negative things when I'm trying to communicate to her and try to get to know her, that's really what's going to come through. But if I go and I'm positive and I've already had these things visualized in my head and I stay positive and I'm doing it in an assertive way, that's what's going to hopefully make you successful communicating with anybody. So in real life, you can go out and you can visualize. I could sit there for the next 10 years and I'm going to visualize I'm going to win the 100-meter dash at the Olympics. It's probably not going to happen. But if I sit here and visualize I'm going to run the 100-meter dash as fast as I can for the next year, and I go out and I train properly, I do that, I will probably get faster than what I am now. Pretty out of shape right now, so it wouldn't be hard to do. But what I'm saying is that you got to take these things in the first step in that real life. And hopefully keep watching our next series, because we're going to talk about the things like being assertive and rejection. And I think with the kind of the 3 video series I got kind of tied together here, I think it's going to give you a great option and a great way to start having a game plan on how to, talk to women. And hopefully you can even transfer to pretty much anywhere where you're having difficulty communicating, from a job interview to a boss or to, even maybe somebody, your family member or somebody like that. So hopefully stay tuned. And number one rule when it comes to, for me, and I think for everybody, is when you are going to take that step and you're going to ask a woman out and you get rejected or something happens, and even before you go over that, you don't want to be an asshole. If you do get rejected, you got to handle it with confidence and assertiveness. And I don't, like say, watch the other video. It's fine that she said so. She said no to the offer. She didn't say no to you. You put something out there that, hey, I'd like your phone number. Hey, I'd like to take you out sometime. That was an offer. You didn't say, hey, please judge me. Tell me all what you think about me. And then would you want to date me? No, you're putting a simple offer out there. Hey, I'd like your phone number. Maybe talk a little bit more. Would you like to go out sometime? That's a whole lot different than saying, hey, would you do a complete judgment, complete overview of me? And it may feel that way with the rejection. And if she's honestly doesn't handle with respect back to you, saying, hey, somebody came up to me, this guy, I have this reason and this reason why I wouldn't want to, further a relationship with you or talk with you. If she's respectful in that, then hey, that's a good person. I need to move on. And if she isn't, then you're like, this probably wasn't the person I need to be kind of lined up with anyways. So that's why I always say, always be respectful no matter what. Because you could go up there, get shot down, but maybe, hey, she's going to say, but I know I have a friend of mine or somebody. It really comes down to kind of about networking. You don't want to show yourself as being an asshole, before or after. That, oh, I told them very politely that, this is something I'm interested in. Oh, but he's a real nice guy, and I got a friend, I got a sister, I know somebody that, you might hit it off with. So let's always remember to be respectful. Pretty simple. Just don't be an asshole. All right. Well, that's it. I hope you continue to watch this video series. Remember, this is LifeVisor Kent. LAS for Men is kind of going to be the new series. LifeVisor Services. I think I keep hitting the mic. I'm sorry about that. LifeVisor Services for Men. For more information, in the comments below, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them down there. And I'm going to start blogging and doing a lot of different things with the information section, and also how to communicate with us directly, individual, one-on-one. That's one of the things with LifeVisor Services. We do work with people on a one-on-one manner if you're looking for a little extra advice. So hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.